Welcome back, everyone. So for today's Day 0 build for Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, releasing February 23rd, 1 week as of recording, we have Kuro Momotaro. He is a 6 hand size, 27 health character from Team Uraotogi, and he has the Air, Chaos, and Earth symbols. Interesting symbol spread. This is going to be a Chaos build, because he shares a lot of synergy with Amajiki from Undaunted Raid, and he also shares 2 symbols with him. So, without further ado, let's get into it. He's got a static that says, before the game begins, search your deck for a card with the word armor in its name, and add it to your momentum face up. Hello. So, you start the game with 1 momentum. This is very reminiscent of the old 7th cross character Dejanette, who would start with the card Spell Circle in her momentum. But this one allows you to have any armor card, which are all of his attacks, have the word armor in them. Most of them, anyway. Face up in your momentum. And then he has Enhance once per turn. If your rival has played 2 or more copies of this attack this turn, it gets -5 damage. So if your opponent is recurring the same attack over and over, or using the Echo keyword, you can get a big damage reduction on 1 attack per turn. Not the best defensive ability, but when you can trigger it, I'm sure it's going to be useful. And then he has Enhance. If you have a face-up copy of this attack in your momentum, this attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage. So if you're running 4 of every armor card, the first one you put into your momentum at the start of the game, you only have 3 of that left in your deck. So I would make sure that that's the one you would want the momentum effect more than the enhances that it has in your card pool. So speaking of our armor cards, we start with Armor of the Ape. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 5 with a +2 mid block. It has the Slam keyword, which I believe all of his attacks do, so more Chaos Slam support for the likes of Mirio and Selkie. And it says, as a static, if this card is added to your momentum, it's added face up. And then it has Enhance Momentum, so this ability can only be played in your momentum. Your rival's attack gets -1 damage. Pretty solid. Repeatable, -1 damage as long as you have this card in your momentum. If you have multiple, you can get -1, 2, 3 damage on all of your rival's attacks. And then also Enhance, this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage for each card in your momentum. So if you play this as your first attack on turn 2, you have 1 card in your momentum, this becomes a 5 mid for 6, plus whatever you have in your momentum if it gives a bonus to your card. So, as an uncommon, pretty solid. Next we have Armor of the Phoenix, his rare attack. A 4 difficulty, 4 high for 4, 3 control, +2 low block. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Also with the Slam keyword. It also has the static that if it goes to your momentum, it goes face up. It has Enhanced Momentum. This attack gets +1 speed. So you can boost the speed of all of your own attacks for +1 for each copy of this card in your momentum. Really good. And then it has Enhanced. This attack gets +2 speed, only playable if you have at least 1 momentum. Unless something horrible happens, you're always going to have at least 1 momentum with Kuro. So this becomes a 6 high for 4, which is not bad. And if you have 1 of these in your momentum, and you're playing 1, so it's a 6 high for 4, then with Kuro it's a 7 high for 6, and then with the 1 copy of this in your momentum, it's an 8 high for 6. On a 4 diff, that's pretty good. That's pretty good returns. Then we have his Ultra Armor of the Wolf. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 5 with a +2 high block. It has EX3, Powerful 3, and Slam. It also has the static that if it's added to your momentum, it adds face up. It says Enhanced Momentum. This attack gets +1 damage. Repeatable button press damage on all of your attacks. And then Response, after your rival passes on an Enhance, this attack gets +1 damage. So this is a really good card for a character like Kuro or for Amajiki, because with all of your face-up momentum having effects, you can push so many buttons on a single attack that if you can outpace your rival on button presses, this is just going to become a huge bomb. And it's just going to be insane, especially if you have one of these in your momentum. So Kuro makes it a 6 mid 7. Armor of the Phoenix says 7 mid 7, 7 mid 8. Oh, that's a -1 damage. So 7 mid 7, plus all of the damage that it's going to be boosting on its own. And if you can just tap your opponent out, you can spend all of your momentum presses and then just dump it all for EX and powerful. Really, really solid attack there. Next up, Chicken Kick. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 0 low for 5 with a +1 low block. It's got kick ranged and stun 1. It says, as a static, if this card is added to your momentum, add it face up. I guess I should just preface this. Every attack in this deck goes to your momentum face up. So we'll just preface that there so I don't have to say it anymore. But it has an enhanced momentum. This attack gets +1 damage. So it's the same momentum ability as Armor of the Wolf. So, again, being able to press all these buttons to get a whole bunch of free stats on all of your attacks. Solid. And then response, after your rival passes on an enhance, this attack gets +1 speed. So a bit of an inverse of the Armor of the Wolf. Instead of getting damage, Chicken Kick gains speed, so you can guarantee that this is going to hit if, again, you can outpace your opponent on the number of things you can do per attack. Next up, Claw Stopper, a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 4 with a +2 mid block. It's got Breaker 1, Punch, and Slam, so it's another Slam. It says enhance momentum once per turn, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card. Get some good card cycle, that could be something very useful. And then enhance, if you have at least 1 momentum, draw 1 card. So, just for playing as you want to play, you get to draw a card with this. Really solid on a 4 diff. And lastly, for our attacks, we have Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 4 high for 6 with a +2 high block. It's got Fury and Ranged, so Chicken Kick and Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken are the only non-slams in the deck. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but Kuro does like to play with the slam keyword. It has enhanced momentum once per turn. Your attack gets +2 speed. So this is a once per turn, just like Claw Stopper, but you get 2 speed on your attack. So really pushing through that Armor Wolf, or Armor of the Wolf, if you really want to make that bomb connect. And then enhance, commit and freeze 1 rival foundation. So you get to target, commit a card, and freeze it so it doesn't ready on your rival's next turn. And as another enhance, commit 1 rival asset. So if your rival's got an asset that's running around that's going to cause you trouble, maybe like the next card we're going to show, you can answer that. So moving on to our non-attack cards, we have the asset Cape of No Return. A 3/4 with a +3 high block, the unique keyword. It says enhance, remove this attack from the game. This is just an immediate eject button. You don't want to deal with this attack anymore. Maybe you get your opponent to waste a bunch of enhances on it, and then just clap it away with Cape of No Return. But if your opponent sees that you have Cape of No Return, they might be hesitant to push all their buttons, which means you could bait them into doing less damage. So that's a pretty fun mind game with that. Then moving on to actions, we have Manifest, a 3/4 with a +1 high block. It says enhance, add 1 other card in your card pool to your momentum face up, draw 1 card. So we could do this on offense. Say we've played like Armor of the Ape or Armor of the Phoenix, and we set down our Armor of the Wolf. We can play Manifest on a 5, put Ape or Phoenix, or any of these really, into our momentum face up, and draw a card, which would then give us another enhance to play during Armor of the Wolf. Basically, Armor of the Wolf is our big bomb kill card, and we want to be able to have as many button presses as possible. Manifest really helps that, plus you could also block with any of these attacks, and then manifest it into your momentum and draw a card, so you have another card defensively to block with. And that is as a response, Manifest says if you block with it, you gain 2 health. Pretty good. I mean, we're a 6 hand size, 27 health character. We've got health to kind of mull through, but the extra health gain certainly isn't bad, especially if we need to block with that 1 high block. Moving on to foundations, we start with Cruel Intent, a 1/5 with a +3 low block. It says enhance, flip, your slam attack gets +2 speed. If it deals damage, your rival flips a foundation. So 2 speed on 90% of our attacks, 80% of our attacks, and if our attack deals damage, our rival flips a foundation. So considering you're giving speed with Armor of the Phoenix, you're giving speed with Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, you're going to be just making sure that this attack hits. Armor of the Ape gives itself speed. So it's just a little bit of a push further, and it's a flip, not a commit cost, so you don't lose that ready resource as well. Next up, Fearsome Transformations, a 1/5 with a +3 high block. It says enhance flip, draw 1 card. If you have no momentum, discard 1 card. Barring some tragedy of something going horribly, horribly wrong, Kuro is always going to have at least 1 momentum. So this is always going to be just a cantrip flip draw card. So, solid. Then we have Steaming Sphere's Power, a 2/5 with a +2 mid-block. This is Kuro's rare foundation. It says enhance destroy, add 1 slam attack from your discard pile to your momentum. So, any of our slams like Claw Stopper or any of our armors, we then gain access to their momentum abilities. And then response, flip after your rival plays an ability that discards 1 or more of your momentum, cancel its effects. So it protects our momentum, as well as adds it if we need it. Next I've added in Power of the Serpent Yo-Yos, a 3 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid-block and the weapon keyword. It says enhance, your attack gets +1 speed, only playable if it shares at least 2 symbols with your character. Every single one of these shares at least air and chaos. So everything is going to get the free speed from Power of the Serpent Yo-Yos. This is also free repeatable speed. So again, pushing as many buttons as possible on our Armor of the Wolf and our Chicken Kick. Next up, Incredible Display, a very potent defensive foundation. It's a 2/5 with a +3 mid-block. It says response commit, discard 1 momentum. After your rival plays a non-character of responsibility, cancel it. So we can give up 1 of our momentum if we really need to cancel a response like a showdown or a breaker, something that would really detriment us. Or response commit after you block with a foundation, add it to your hand. So turning 1 block into 2. Really, really good foundation. Next up, Nice Try, a 2/5 with a +3 low block and the taunt keyword. It says enhance commit, this attack gets -2 speed, so good speed hate. And then response, after your rival's combat phase begins, ready this foundation, playable while committed. So you commit it on your turn to pass the checks to play your cards, and then it readies up on your opponent's turn for that necessary speed hate. Next up, Unrivaled Combatant, a 1/5 with a +3 high block. It says enhance flip, change the zone of your punch or slam attack, it gets +1 speed. So we can turn our Armor of the Ape or our Armor of the Wolf, or even Claw Stopper from a mid to an off zone, high or low, and give it 1 speed. Since a lot of our stuff can give itself damage, giving that extra speed could be enough to push it over the top to where you can really push that damage through. And then we have Nejire-chan of the big 3, a 1/5 with a +2 high block. Says enhance, destroy 1 foundation. This attack gets +1 damage. If it's blocked, gain a health. Excuse me, just gonna fix my camera a little bit there and take a drink. So this is good for breaking yourself from deadlock, and it also gives bonus damage to all of our moves. If they're blocked, we then get to gain some health back, but you can also use this defensively, giving your opponent's move +1 damage, and then if you block it, say fully block it, gain an extra health out of it. So really useful in multifaceted ways. Next up we have Vast Hybrid, a 3/5 with a +2 mid-block. The unique keyword, so we're only allowed to have 1 in our stage at a time, or momentum as we will see. It says enhance momentum once per turn. Your next check gets +1. Helps extend our string from our momentum. Pretty cool. It has a form once per turn. If you have at least 1 momentum, which we will, your attacks get +1 damage for the rest of the turn. So that's really good. A blanket +1 at the start of the turn for all of your attacks. And then enhance, add this card to your momentum face up, and then if there are other copies of Vast Hybrid in your momentum, flip them unless your character is Tamaki Amajiki. So what you could do is have 1 in your momentum, 1 in your stage, use the +1 to your momentum, or the +1 to your check from your momentum, add this 1 in your stage to your momentum, flip the 1 you've already used the ability on, and then you still have the +1 to your next check, to another check, with the other Vast Hybrid that you just added to the momentum. But honestly, having one in stage and one in momentum is kind of the best variation, so you can get your check and you can get the damage every turn. Next foundation in line is Adaptable, a 2/5 with a +2 high block. It says Enhance Commit, your attack gets +1 speed for each of your momentum, maximum 3. So you can get up to 3 speed just by turning this foundation sideways. And then Deadlock Enhance, flip, your rival loses 1 health for each of your momentum. This effect cannot reduce your rival below 1 health. So in Deadlock, this is a big burn, because all of your stuff wants to go to momentum face up, so you're going to do whatever you can to either build it in from your discard pile or guarantee that your attacks hit. And then Adaptable can give speed until your opponent gets to that deadlock spot. But with all of this speed boost we have from our foundations and our momentum attacks, your opponent might have to build into deadlock to deal with you eventually. Then we have Forced Quirk Activation as a fun little one-of, a 2/4 with a +2 mid-block and the unique keyword. It says Enhance, Remove, add 1 card from your discard pile to your momentum. So you just get a free face-up momentum with Forced Quirk Activation. And then Enhance Destroy, choose 1 enhance ability on a rival foundation. If your rival does not play that ability as their next enhance, they destroy that foundation. So if your rival has a deadlock ability enhance that they cannot play because you're not in deadlock, you can target that to basically force your opponent to destroy that foundation. Or if they have an ability on a committed foundation that's not playable while committed, you can force them to give up that foundation. But it's mainly here for the remove, get a free face-up momentum to have more buttons to press. Excuse me. Next up, Basic Training, a very good spam. It's a 0/5 with a +2 mid-block. It says Response, once per turn, after you play an attack, it gets +1 damage. You stay down. And then Deadlock Response, after an attack is played, it gets +1 speed, playable while committed. So again, if your rival has to go into deadlock to deal with you, that's not going to matter so much because now all of your attacks get +1 speed for the rest of the turn, and one of them gets +1 damage. Next we have Cool and Tough, a 1/5 with a +2 mid-block. It says Response, Remove, after a card leaves your momentum due to a rival effect, add that card to your hand, playable while committed. So if they have any way to remove your momentum or discard your momentum, you can just add it back to your hand so you can play it again and try to get it back into your momentum. And as someone who wants to have as much momentum as possible, you need these momentum defenses. And then it also has a Deadlock Enhance, ready 1 rival foundation, ready 2 of your foundations. And that is not a commit cost or anything, that is just a free, you ready them 1, you ready 2. Get down. Sorry, cats. Next we have Easily Excited, a 0/5 with a +2 high block. It says Response, once per turn, after an attack is played, it gains +1 speed and the Taunt keyword if it does not already have it, which none of our attacks have Taunt, but it's mainly here for that repeatable +1 speed once per turn, plus it's a 0 diff with a good high block. Speaking of speed, we have Feelin' Cute, a 0/5 with a +2 high block. It says Enhance, destroy 1 foundation, your attack gets 1 speed. If we're really trying to push our end game during a turn, we just blow up our stage to give our stuff speed and make sure that these things hit as fast and hard as possible. Then we have Chivalrous Competitor, a 1/5 with a 3 low block. It says Enhance, flip, both players draw 1 card. Good, we love continuing our strings. And then Response, before one of your foundations would be destroyed or flipped due to a rival's non-character effect, flip this foundation instead. So with a lot of, say, Karasu's kit that's blowing up foundations, not just himself, this can help protect your foundations by flipping it, if you haven't already flipped to draw. And last but not least, we have Struggling with Studies, a 1/5 with a +3 low block. It says Enhance, flip, if this is your rival's 3rd or greater attack this combat phase, add 1 card from your card pool to your hand. And then Response, before one of your foundations would be flipped due to a rival effect, flip this foundation instead. This works really well with Incredible Display, because you can block with a foundation, commit Incredible Display, pick it up. Block with it again, and then on your rival's 3rd turn, flip Struggling with Studies to pick that foundation up again, and you just turned 1 block into 3 with a commit and a flip. That's some pretty good Chaos defense synergy, if I do say so myself. And that is our Kuro. It is a 65 card deck with a pretty even block mod spread. Like I said, this is just my first run with Kuro. If you're watching this kind of like in the video order that I've uploaded, you will see that I was able to open my early access box of Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, and I said that on the air symbol, Kuro has access to Zeru's Flames, which, with all the buttons you have to push, can easily turn your opponent's entire stage sideways. You get down. Again, cats, sorry. So, if I wanted to revisit this list, I'd probably look at the air symbol, just to see what else I could do to push that Zeru's Flames, because having all these buttons to push from your momentum, and, like, let's just look it up right here. Zeru's Flames, which says, response after you play an enhance during this attack, your rival commits a non-character card. As a 5 mid 7, being able to do that with all of the buttons you can push in your momentum and your stage, you're going to commit your opponent's entire board in one shot. So, if I was going to redo this deck, I'd probably redo it off of air, because you still get all of the Amajiki stuff, but you gain this really powerful one-check attack. But other than that, what do you guys think? Do you think you're just going to leave Momotaro at home because you have Amajiki, and he's kind of a bit flashier? Or do you think this guy can fill some niches that otherwise Amajiki wouldn't be able to do? Like I said, he's got that really nice once per turn that gives -5 damage, but Amajiki has a once per turn -X damage. I'm not making any case for Momotaro, am I? But I think he's cool, and I think, especially with all of his armor stuff and a lot of the slam stuff he wants to do, I think he can fill a niche little pick. So, with that said, what do you guys think? If you like deck build content, I highly suggest subscribing to this channel. I'm going to be doing day 0 builds for all of these characters, and then I will go back to my regularly scheduled maybe 2 to 3 videos a week with different characters, which would now be fleshed out with new toys to play with. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of Kuro down in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, so until next time, take care.